Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Urvashi, and today in this video I'm going to be talking about the monthly horoscopes for the month of November, and I'm also going to be talking about each of the ascendants a little bit and how this month is going to be, going to be blessing all of us. In which area are we going to feel blessed in this month? So before I start, remember to subscribe, remember to tap the bell icon, and before I even come down to the ascendants, I'm going to be talking about the placement of the planets and the general energy this month. So let's talk about the placement of the planets. Sun is debilitated in Libra right from the beginning of the month, and on the 16th the Sun is going to move into Scorpio. In Virgo we have Mars, but Mars is going to move into Libra on the 10th of this month. So Mars and Sun would be transiting both in the sign of Libra, so Libra is going to have a lot of fire this month. And in Scorpio we're going to be having Mercury, Venus and Jupiter. Mercury, Venus very closely conjunct, and Mercury is going to be in retrograde motion right from the beginning of the month to about the 20th of the month, and on the 6th Mercury is going to enter back into Scorpio. So we left with Venus, Jupiter. Jupiter on the 5th is going to move into Sagittarius. In Sagittarius we already have Saturn Ketu conjunction for a good 10 months now, and Jupiter is going to be joining them. Rahu is going to be in Gemini. So I think I've covered all major planetary positions, and let's see the impact of this. So Mars in Libra is not the best of positions because Mars is the planet of action and Libra is the sign of balance. So Libra is one sign where if you are ruled by the sign of Libra, or wherever the sign of Libra falls in your chart, that area is where you would be trying to strike a balance. So here, before putting in our action into anything, we would be trying to think about the pros and cons of every side of the situation. So action is not going to really happen very quickly this month. This month is not very action oriented, and this month is more of a relationship oriented, where the best side of this transit would be we could all be trying to strike a balance in our relationship. We all could be putting in our action into our relationship. That would be the positive aspect of this transit. And the negative aspect of this transit is that we may not really be putting in too much of action. We may be using all our energy just in weighing the pros and cons of a situation, in trying to strike a balance, and in trying to feel motivated through others, in trying to get motivated with the help of creativity. And it is only with the help of the other, because Libra is the sign of the other. So it's we waiting to get inspired by the other person, and it is that inspiration that will push us towards any kind of an action. So action will not happen quickly, and the best part is we will be trying to strike a balance in relationship. That is where we would be trying to put our energies in. Now it all depends on how the natal chart plays up and what dashas, what transits, and what is the promise of your relationships. But generally this is what this transit is about: action, trying to strike a balance, not much of action, mostly into hoping that there is harmony. Action is all about thinking about bringing harmony and balance and charm and beauty. So Mars is not very happy when it's in Libra, because Mars just wants to go out and do things. Mars doesn't want to think too much before putting in any action. But in the sign of Libra, it has to start thinking about bringing a balance, striking some kind of harmony and relationships and others, and it is others that will inspire us to take any kind of action. Also, Mercury is going to be retrograde from Scorpio. Mercury is entering Libra on the 6th of November and into Libra. So the sign of Libra, the sign of relationships, is very activated this month. So a lot of us would be putting in our actions into relationships that could have been left behind in the past, in striking a balance there, in bringing some harmony in those relationships, and in finishing off any hard feelings, or finishing off or tying up the loose ends. So that is where the action also could be put in, considering this conjunction of the retrograde Mercury and Mars in Libra most of this month. So that is also where your action would be focused. Or this could be action related to business dealings, related to dealings with other people, related to your relationships, any kind of relationships. It's just not the lovey-dovey kind of relationships. It could be any kind of relationships, trying to strike a balance there trying to bring in harmony there. And then we have Sun in Libra. So Sun in Libra is again not one of the best positions, and Sun would be moving into Scorpio. That is a more decisive Sun. That is a more action-oriented Sun in Scorpio. So the first 15 days are not looking that great, because our ego, our self-confidence is going to be lowered a little bit, and action is not going to be happening so much, and we would be we may have to let go of our ego, or we may have to just bend ourselves a little bit where relationships are concerned, where business dealings are concerned, where our dealings with other people are concerned, especially for the first 15 days. And that may not make us so happy, but that is the need of the hour, and we need to be working on those lines. And after the 15th, the Sun moves into Scorpio, which is more action oriented, more achievement oriented, more focused. And also we already have Venus there. So Venus there in Scorpio is a very, very focused energy, where relationships, where happiness, where wealth is concerned. So you're all going to be working on improving your condition of money, on the money status in our life, on the money issues in our life. We're going to be very focused on that area. And since Jupiter is also there for the first 5 days, but Jupiter moves into Sagittarius on the 5th. And on the 22nd, Venus too joins Jupiter in Sagittarius. So on the 22nd, from the 22nd onwards, we have a very close conjunction of Venus Jupiter in Sagittarius, and Saturn Ketu also there. Though the degrees between Saturn Ketu and Venus Jupiter are quite a bit, but Venus Jupiter are very closely conjunct. So this is a very, very sweet conjunction that we have of Venus Jupiter, bringing in happiness, bringing in prosperity, bringing in wealth, positivity in relationships. And so it's generally a very, very sweet month. It's just the first 15 days that would bring in a little bit of frustration, little bit of a humbling effect, but I think it's for the best. So there are certain matters when Mercury goes retrograde that we need to go back and complete, finish, go over, revise, maybe change certain plans, maybe finish up any tasks that were left undone. And like I've already made a video on Mercury retrograde, you can go and watch that video specifically if you want to know what this Mercury retrograde is going to be for you. I've covered all the ascendants in that video. So this video is about all the planets and the general effect for each of the ascendants. So I think I've covered the general effects. I'm now going to be talking specifically about all the ascendants. So now I'm going to be talking about Aries. So Aries, you have Mars, Mercury in the 7th house, and you have Sun there in the 7th house for the first 15 days. The 8th house will have Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, and then Mercury is of course coming back like I've already discussed. 9th house, Saturn, Ketu, and Jupiter is going to be moving in the 9th house. 22nd, Venus is also going to be moving in the 9th house. So for Aries, the theme this month is business, relationships, wealth, growth of relationships, growth of wealth, growth of business, and focusing on the improvement in our relationship. You would definitely, that would be the focus. You would be trying to bring in harmony, and you would be trying to bring in happiness in your relationships, in your financial status. And this is a very, very supportive month with Jupiter moving into your 9th house, Venus following very close behind Jupiter. So it's a great month. It's a sweet month. It's a month for traveling. It's a month for spending some quality time with your family members. It's a time when you will work towards improving your financial status, and definitely the energy is very, very supportive. But Mars is still in your 7th house, so those that are married have to be a little careful about the relationship with their spouse, their business partners, and especially Mercury coming back there in that sign means you got to be working on certain things related to that house. So you can go and watch that other video where I've talked about Mercury being retrograde. Now I'm going to be talking about Taurus. So for Taurus, this conjunction of Mars and Mercury will be in your 6th house, and your 7th house will have Venus there. So for Taurus, this is a great month for relationships. Of course, some of you who have gone through bad relationships or who have left some loose ends are going to go through certain litigations and all. You probably will be going back and working on those things. For most of you, it would be about your work routine. So your work routine, whatever targets that are not being met, deadlines that are not being achieved, is where you will be putting your time. And it will also be with your colleagues that you may have to improve your relationship. It's a good time for putting in your energy into your routine, your daily routine, or even starting up some kind of a exercise routine. And all of you would definitely be working on your relationships in a positive way, working towards business relationships as well as growth of finances. So this is looking like a good month for financial growth for Taurus as well. For Gemini, this is in your 5th house. So Mars Mercury would be conjunct in your 5th house, and Sun is going to be debilitated there for the first 15 days. In your 6th house, you're going to have Venus. In your 7th house, you're going to have Saturn, Ketu, and Jupiter is going to be following it on the 5th, and Venus is going to be joining it on the 22nd. So the first 15 days, because the Sun is debilitated in the 5th house, is looking a little not so happy, because having malefics there can make us very angry, and a debilitated Sun can definitely make us angry there. And again, the theme is relationships. This is mostly love relationships and children. So if there is some kind of a friction between you and your children, you probably are going to be working on it, and it's a good time to be working on it. It's a good time to be correcting your relationship with your children, and it can also go towards a little negative, because we're going to be having Sun there debilitated and Mars entering there later on with a retrograde Mercury. So things also could get a little out of hand. There could be more friction unless you decide to put in some positive action there. So you would definitely be thinking about improving your relationship with your children, improving your relationship with your loved ones. But remember, malefics in the 5th house always tend to make us angry, and sometimes things do go out of control. If you're not aware of how we should best utilize this energy, it can get a little out of hand. So the best way is to try and with Mercury being retrograde there, the best thing is to try and work things out with the children, and things will definitely get worked out. And cool down a little bit, have a lot of milk and cold drinks and soft drinks and sherbets, and chill out, and not let this Sun and Mars posited in the 5th house burn you up a little bit too much, because this can cause a little bit of acidity, gastritis, heartburn. So beware of all that. And for you guys, it's definitely relationships which will be picking up, definitely business which will be picking up, definitely your status, your position in the public, that will be picking up this month, and you will be making a name for yourself. People will be appreciating who you are. And if you've been going through a bad time with your spouse, that is going to definitely improve, and you're going to be having a great time in the office as well. Your colleagues and you guys are going to, it's going to be a good environment, kind of a chilled out kind of an environment in your workplace, and you're going to have a generally good, comfortable month. So now talking about Cancer, Mars Mercury would be in the 4th house. 5th house, you're going to have Venus. 6th house is Saturn, Ketu, and then later on Jupiter, and then later on Venus as well. So for Cancer, this is the changes that you might have to bring could be at home, could be working on unrest at home. With Mars there, this could be a little bit of an emotional turmoil that you could be going through this month. Emotional turmoil of the past, and you may just have to sort out those things. Could be related to moving from your current, wherever place you're residing in currently. With your children, it's going to be a beautiful month. With any relationships, it's going to be a very sweet month. With work, the latter part of this month is going to really start looking well. After the 22nd, having Jupiter, Venus in your 6th house is going to be like, you're going to be happy with your work routine. You're going to start enjoying your work. And so this is a great month for you as well, Cancer. The only part is taking care of issues at home, taking care of things that are happening at home, whatever little discord is happening at home. The work front is really looking good for you. So good for Cancer as well. For Leo, Mars, Mercury in the 3rd house. 4th house, we have Venus, and 5th house, we're going to have, planets like, we're going to be having Saturn, Ketu already there. Jupiter is going to be joining, and Venus is going to be joining later on. So for Leo people, this is issues that you will have to sort out would be for your communication issues with your siblings, any kind of communications that have gone wrong, anything that you said to somebody that could have been miscommunicated. So you could be working on those things. You got to also be very careful this month. I've mentioned this in the other video that communications can go wrong for you this month as well. You got to be very cautious about your travels. You got to be cautious. It's a beautiful month for you, Leo. Lots of happiness, peace at home. And for those that are looking for love relationships, it's again a beautiful month because Jupiter is going to be entering your 5th house. Venus is going to be also conjunct there. So all the dryness that you've been feeling in your heart, all the loneliness that you've been feeling is going to start going away now. So this is a really nice month for Leo, for those that want to enter into some kind of a relationship, or if you're having some kind of issues related to creativity, if you've been feeling stuck up where creativity is concerned. So suddenly you're going to feel very creative, and suddenly a lot of beautiful ideas are going to come up in your mind, and you're going to be doing your best. So good month for you as well, for Leo. Those that are looking for some kind of a power position, a promotion, some kind of a bonus, that too could be happening for you. Now talking about Virgo. For Virgo, Mars Mercury conjunction are in your 2nd house. 3rd house has Venus. 4th house has Saturn Ketu already, and now Jupiter will be joining on the 5th. Venus will be joining on the 22nd. So you will be working out on a lot of issues related to wealth, on business matters, family matters. Be very, very careful about your speech this month. You could say something very hurting to somebody and later on maybe regret it. So do take care of your health, Virgo, because Sun is going to be debilitated in the 2nd house, Mars in the ascendant, then Mars will be entering the 2nd house. And so this shows that there could be, you could hurt your face, or you have eye trouble, or you could have minor accidents. So, and that there could be a lot of, at home, because 2nd house is your family. So there could be a lot of heated discussions at home, and there could be matters related to the past, related to business, related to family that you would want to sort out now. So it's a good time to do that. Otherwise, if you're talking about enjoying yourself, you're going to be partying, you're going to be going out, you're going to be shopping, you're going to be spending money. And where home is concerned, after the 22nd, Venus is going to be joining Jupiter in the 10th house, and then there's going to be festivities and partying at home, and you may be shopping, you could be redecorating your home, you could be buying a new vehicle. Definitely looking good for you professionally as well. So it's just your speech, it's just your relationship with your family that you could be a little careful about, and money matters, financial matters. That is where you need to be careful about. Any kind of a business deal you do right now, be very cautious about, because Mercury is going to be retrograde most of this month till about the 20th. So that is where you got to be careful about. So that is for Virgo. For Libra, this conjunction of Mars Mercury will be in the ascendant. Mars will be first in your 12th house, then it will move in the ascendant. Sun will be in the ascendant till the 16th, then it will move to the 2nd house. In the 2nd house, we're going to be having Venus most of this month. Then Sun will be conjunct. In the 3rd house, you already have Saturn Ketu. Jupiter is going to be moving there on the 5th. Venus is going to join on the 22nd. So Libra, even though you want to move ahead, there's a lot of energy in you right now with Mars being in the ascendant, but Mercury is, being in retrograde motion is going to slow you down a little bit. And also having this debilitated Sun in the ascendant. So Libra people definitely got to take care of their health this month. So fevers and minor health issues are what that could be, that could come up. And because Sun here is also your Badkesh, so Sun is also going to bring some kind of obstacles. So even though you may be pushing ahead to achieve certain things right now, there could be certain obstacles that you may face. And but wealth is really looking good. Wealth is looking better than it has. But with Venus being there in the 2nd house, and Jupiter is also there, and then Venus moves into the 3rd house. So for wealth, it's a good month. For action, for you moving forward, for your goals, there could be a little bit of a slowdown. The key here is to listen to people. The key here is to talk to people and listen to them. And you may be surprised at the kind of feedback or info you get that would really help you. And where your communication is concerned, where your relationship with your siblings, where travel is concerned, if you're thinking of some kind of travel, if you're planning some kind of communication, if you're into media, advertising, teaching, counseling, this is like a wonderful month for you. So little bit of a slowdown for Libra, considering that we're going to be having Sun there and then later on Mars. but generally a good month for you as well. Now talking about Scorpio. So Scorpio is going to be having Venus in the ascendant. In the 12th house, you're going to be having first the Sun debilitated, then you're going to be having Mars and Mercury. In the second house, Saturn, Ketu. Jupiter is going to be joining it on the 5th, and Venus is going to be joining it on the 22nd. So for Sagittarius, it's a good month, really a very good month, because Jupiter's been in the ascendant all this while, and now Jupiter is going to go in the second house, the house of wealth. Venus is going to be joining it later on. So for Scorpio, definitely you're going to have a growth in wealth. Money will be coming in from somewhere that you've been expecting it, now for a while. And there could also be expenditure, because remember, Venus is your 12th lord. So the 12th lord is coming into the second house. There could be expenditure, but it would be a fun kind of an expenditure with Jupiter. It's going to give you a lot of happiness. And but the Sun is debilitated in the 12th house. So here you need to take care of your father a little bit. You're going to be more alert about his health. And but you're also going to be feeling very confident. You're going to be feeling very energetic. You're going to, in the beginning of the month, you do great working in a team. But by the end of the month, you would get into a state where you would like to be left alone. You would like to be introspecting a little bit, meditating a little bit, because Mars, your ascendant lord, is going to be in the 12th house with the retrograde Mercury. So that is the time where you would like to stay by yourself, be a little quiet, and spend some time introspecting. And I think it's the best thing to do. So you could be coming up with great ideas. It's a very intuitive time, having your ascendant lord in the 12th house with Mercury there. So maybe some great ideas could be coming to you at that point of time. So Scorpio, you go to utilize this time in a very positive manner. And so for wealth, it's a good month. For coming up with great ideas, it's a good month. For growth, it's a good month. You will feel very confident. But at the same time, you would like to spend some time in the quiet. And it's a good month to do that. Travel is also indicated for you. Now talking about Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius, in your 10th house, you have Mars at the beginning of this month, and you have Sun in the 11th house debilitated, and then Sun will move into the 12th house. Venus is going to be in the 12th house. In the ascendant, Saturn, Ketu are opposited. Jupiter is going to move in the ascendant on the 5th. Venus is going to move in the ascendant on the 22nd. So we're going to be having Sun in the 12th house, and in the 11th you're going to have a Mars-Mercury conjunction, and Mercury is going to be retrograde. So I've already talked about this a little bit in the Mercury retrograde video. So this month you're going to be, you will know who your friends are. There could be certain activities happening, certain things coming up where you would know who you can count on and who you should not be wasting your time with. So Mars in your 10th house at the beginning of the month suggests that you being a little more expecting in your workplace, expecting credit, expecting to be recognized for your effort, and it only would be in the later half of the month that you would realize that it is in group work and teamwork that you will actually do well. So this is really a month for group work, for teamwork, for revising things. If you've been working in some kind of a project and you need to go back and look over that project and see if any kind of, a group project where some things were overlooked and you need to go through that once again, or your network circle to see who your friends really are. So those are the areas of concern. Travel could also be strongly indicated for you this month. You could be traveling. This could even be foreign travel, or you could just be going to some kind of a place and want to spend some time meditating, spend some time by yourself. For wealth, for happiness, it's a great month. You're going to be having both Jupiter, Venus in the ascendant. For name, fame, wealth, status, it's a great month. You generally feel happy, and you probably are going to put on some weight, and you're going to be loving sweets this month. So that is all for Sagittarius. Now I'm going to be talking about Capricorn. For Capricorn ascendant people, you're going to be having Sun debilitated in the 10th house for the first 15 days. And then the Sun moves into the 11th house, where Venus is going to be most of this month till the 22nd. And then Venus moves into the 12th house, where Saturn and Ketu are opposited. Jupiter will also move into the 12th house on the 5th. Venus is going to be there. the sun is going to move in the 11th house. In the 10th house, you're going to have Mars and a retrograde Mercury. So Mars will move from the 9th house to the 10th house. So for Capricorn people, it's a month where you will want attention in the office, and you will want your due status. You will want to be recognized. But you may have to slow down, because Mercury is also there, and Mercury is retrograde at this point of time, and Mercury is going to make you go over things that you thought that were completed and you thought that were done well. But Mercury may want you to go back and revise those things and see if there are still certain tasks that need to be finished. Revise your relationship with your boss, revise your work, revise your deadlines, whatever plans, revise your career. Is it the career that you really want? So Mercury could even make you do that. Then you're going to be having, for the first 15 months, Sun debilitated in the 10th house. Now that is not that good a position. The first 15 months, Capricorn people have to be very careful, because the Sun is the 8th lord in the 10th house. This does indicate breaks. This definitely does indicate breaks. There could be some kind of a break in your profession. You might just take some time off, or this could be a warning, like a warning you get from the HR or something like that. And then Mars and Mercury are going to be there conjunct, so you may be seriously thinking about your profession this month. And then, you know, the 12th lord moves into the 12th house, and Venus too moves there. Venus is the 5th lord, so this does show spending a lot of, you know, time in the, you know, quiet, because the ascendant lord is in the 12th house. Jupiter, the lord of, you know, the 3rd lord, the lord of efforts, and the 12th lord is in the 12th house. Venus, the 5th lord, is in the 12th house. This does show this month is very crucial for Capricorn, where your profession is concerned, and you may get a break in your profession, a forcible break. You may take a break. Things could come up related to work, and that may really make you start thinking, introspecting, maybe even take a short trip somewhere and spend some quiet time and work on something. It could just be, you know, traveling for work. This could just be traveling for work. This month you could be just spending a lot of money. You could be spending your effort. So now I'm going to be talking about Aquarius. So Aquarius, you're going to be having, you of course already have your ascendant lord and Ketu conjunct in the 11th house. Jupiter is going to be joining them on the 5th. And then before that Jupiter is going to be in the 10th house. Venus is also going to be in the 10th house. Jupiter is going to join Saturn Ketu in the 11th on the 5th. Venus is going to join them on the 22nd. So you're going to be having 4 planets in the 11th house. Sun is going to be in the 9th house, debilitated at the beginning of the month. And on the 15th, the Sun is going to move into the 10th house. Mars and Mercury are going to be conjunct in the 9th house for most of the month. So Aquarius people this month are going to feel confident. It's a good month for gains, and you're going to be doing very well in your office. Your boss, relationship with your boss here is a little questionable. Your boss could be giving you a tough time. Having Sun debilitated in the 9th house for the first 15 days, and then Mars with retrograde Mercury in the 9th house, shows that your boss could be giving you a tough time, or your boss could be in trouble this month, or your father could be in trouble this month. So Aquarius people have to take care of these things. So you could also be getting very adamant in your philosophy, in your ideology, and you could be very outspoken about it, and you could be very too confident about it, and you may end up making some enemies. For gains, it's a good month. For wealth, it's a great month. For network circle, increasing your network circle, parting with them, it's a good month. And the only thing that is not looking so good is your father's health. Your boss, he could be unwell. You know, you could have some kind of a friction in your relationship. You may be too outspoken. So those things you got to consider. Now I'm going to be talking about Pisces. So for Pisces people, Sun is going to be debilitated in the 8th house in the first 15 days, and then it will move to the 9th house. And in the 8th house, we're going to be having Mars and Mercury for the rest of the month. The Sun is going to be in the 9th house. The 10th house will have Saturn Ketu. Jupiter is going to move in the 10th house on the 5th, and Venus is also going to move there in the 22nd. So professionally, this is a great month for Pisces people with both Jupiter, Venus in the 10th house. It's all about achievement. It's a great position to have all these planets there. You could be having a promotion, a status change. Sun after the 15th, that is. So the first 15 days, Sun is debilitated in the 8th house, which is not looking so good, and then the Sun comes to the 9th house. So with the Sun in the 9th house and all those planets posited in the 10th house, looks like a great month for you. So for Pisces, it's a great month. All you got to be very careful about any kind of sudden unexpected happenings happening for you, sudden secrets coming out, things that have been hidden in the past, things that it could be related to your workplace, it could be related to your personal life, things that you thought were hidden and forgotten could come up and really bother you this month, and you may just have to go back and correct those things. So for Pisces, I would definitely say spend some time working on things and clearing out whatever's underneath the carpet. And your own health, any accidents, any surgeries that are due, you got to take charge of now. And you could also be working on inheritances and things like that, or any kind of a gift that you're supposed to be receiving and that has been pending. Somebody promised you and you've been expecting and you didn't get that. So that kind of a thing. So good month for Pisces, other than a few of those things that I've just discussed with you. We'll be seeing you in the next video now. Bye bye for now.